how it was ever going to change, but that's when it came in. So, yes.
What year was that? I remember the Dolores Hotel. Yes.
Well,
What year was that built?
Well, it took time. The first building we put in was, my father put in, that was in 48. I guess it was finished in 49. That was for the trailer park, which didn't work. And then he built the next wing, the south wing, was finished in 51. And then the restaurant building was finished in 53. And then the last building on the north side was finished in 55 or 6. But like I said, he never had a mortgage on anything. He paid cash as he ran. We saved till he had the money and then he put it in. It's just amazing. It's not done anymore. Anybody else have any questions about how it was then?
I'd like to add something to
Yeah.
the presentation. You may not realize when Dolores sold part of her property and needed to get city water, the city of Palm Coast was going to require her to sign an annexation agreement. And some of you participated in that. But this tells you something else about the Hammock, too. Al-Hadid led us, and at least 100 of us went before the Palm Coast City Council, and she got her water.
I did.
Without signing.
They said, will you sign? I said, no, I will not. I do not want to be part of Palm Coast, and I still do not want to be part of Palm Coast. It's small, but it's ours.
Yes.
We don't need their taxes either. That's all they want us for. Anybody else have any questions?
I seem to remember your motel might have been made of cocaine.
It was all built out of cocaine.
So,
It was a double wall,
mhm.
and you had air in the middle, so you had insulation in it. And I don't, how my father come up with building with cocaine, I don't know. I mean, he was just invented that way.
Smart man.
But did they get it out of the quarry?
Yeah, they had a quarry. They rented a quarry from Malcolm Johnson. He had all the land then, you know. And it was just the other side of Malcolm, not too far to the south. And I don't know what happened. Somebody must have put it up since then, but he got all the rock in it. You can't use the beach rock because it never loses the smell of the fish. Whereas when you get the fresh rock out of the ground, it has no smell to it.
The bicyclists are enjoying that now.
Yeah. I haven't been back through there, and I don't remember ever going to the quarry. But they used to get down in there. Of course, at the time they could get a little bit of dynamite. They didn't use a lot of it, but a piece of a stick. We have a well there. That's the only thing that's left on that property. My father put in like an old Spanish well, and they dug it out, and they dropped some dynamite in it, and then they put it sides and banked it up there, and you could see down into it. It was just clear. We had the best water. And that's what my husband fought for, because we had such good water here in the Hammock. We didn't need city water. But now, with so many people in and septic tanks, it's gone. You can't use the water. But it was great. We ran the motel and restaurant for 50 years, you know.
Wow.
It was super. Yeah, no water. Yeah. Anybody else have any questions about it? Okay, I'll turn it over. If y'all enjoyed hearing about it.
Wow, that's wonderful. Thank you so much. I know we're at the end of our time, but Rosemary Myers wanted to be here, but she couldn't be here tonight. And so I took some notes. I talked to her, and she wanted me to convey some things to you. And some of these things came up. Her father, Armand, read about Flagler County. They were in Miami in the mid-'60s. Read about Flagler County, this fast-growing county, this beautiful, pristine county. Thought he'd come out and check it out. Came up to the Hammock on Scenic A1A. there was a zoo for sale, Botanical Gardens and Zoo. Came home, said, guess what, honey, kids? I bought a zoo. What? So they moved from Miami up here. He bought the zoo, which is a botanical garden. It's called Artesia Gardens. And that was at the end of 16th Road, and it was 6 acres, 1 acre of which was one of those sulfur springs, which I didn't even realize. I've been coming here since '96, moved here permanently in 2007, but didn't know about those sulfur springs. So 1 acre was one of those, and she said that when they were digging that out, before they bought it, predated them, that those were the rocks that built the Rock Motel.
I didn't remember that.
That's what she thought. And otherwise, we know it as the Palm Coast Villas. So, and her dad also bought 84 acres in that area that you know, Armand Drive. That's her dad, Armand.
And you have to give her credit. When she finally sold to Publix, she made them promise, and she stood there and watched while they moved that huge oak tree out of the way so it wouldn't be killed next to it.
It's still there. She fought so hard, and for the setbacks and the trees. She loves this area, and just that was the best time of her life, she said, working at the zoo. And she told me this story she wanted me to tell. She said, this is appropriate, but you have to tell this. When I was about 11 years old, 1971, my dad said I could take the horse and ride it, but I was only allowed to take 16th Road up to the beach, and I could go north to the Roundhouse, which was the first house being built on the ocean. So she's riding her horse, 11 years old, and she kind of sees some people out. She's riding up. Suddenly these people are coming up to her on the horse, and they're all naked. There's a little...
My daughter had the same experience. This is the place where they would come.
I know some of the people who skinny dipped out there because
My daughter came up and this guy was by himself, and she said, all times the horse stumbled and went through her, and she said she didn't know she could jump on a bareback horse.
So she dared not tell her dad she wouldn't be able to take the horse out. She was only allowed to ride this one route. Of course, it was the naked route.
they swam right down here.
Yeah, right.
They camp right here and then they swam down there.
Right. She said there were a lot of
Literally right
hippies
here.
in the 70s. So, what else? Oh, and she just wanted me to tell you that her folks they bought alligators at the alligator farm, and also a place in Miami where they bought other animals, the spider monkeys. And apparently and they had a deer, right, peacocks, and a large deer herd. At one time the deer herd got out and were running up and down A1A, and they had to
Let's go to that.
get them all together.
Get hit like
Yes.
this.
And she told me this interesting story about one of the spider monkeys got out of the pen, and it was a pregnant monkey holding one of her babies. And so they were searching for these monkeys. Her dad found this monkey across A1A holding her baby on her hip. And so her dad, she said, I was mortified, because again, I was 11 and everything's, mortifying to you when you're 11 if your parents are involved. So her dad stops traffic, goes across, puts his hand out to the monkey, that the monkey holds his hand. She said, this is a wild animal. They were mean and nasty. When I had to feed them, she said, it was, you never knew what kind of attitude you were going to get. Holds his hand. He walks the monkey across the street as the cars are stopping. People are taking pictures. Of course, she's like this. So you can only imagine what a fantastic childhood she had living here. So they're the best days of her life. She wouldn't trade it for anything. She wishes everybody could have that experience, and that's why she loves the hammock so much.
I've got to tell you about Animal Land too, where our adult education building is now. It was ITT's, and then my husband actually got that for the county But before that, we had an animal land, and these guys from Michigan came down. I can't remember their names, but my husband wired that whole place. He was an electrician then. And they had all kinds of, they had gorilla there at one time, and they had 2 badgers, and they got out one time. That scared everybody because badgers are vicious and mean. But they must have died because we never saw anything of them. They had a lot of large animals.
A lot of these big critters.
Yeah.
Done.
And a couple of things. There's one lady that allowed our spreadings to in Flaggers in Swainsville. Anyhow, she was telling me that they lived here in the 1920s. Across from where, the way she described it, it was where Fox's Cut is. There was buildings from the A1A. My sister-in-law, Janice, and her family lived in those buildings. And she, unfortunately, I don't know how long it was after they moved here, but her father, they went up to Flagler Beach or somewhere to get groceries one night, and they were coming back home, and a drunk driver went into them, and the father died. I think it was down in that round the Fox's Cut area
Yeah,
somewhere.
when that curve was so.
Yeah, right. Because there was another flat area. There's another flat area. It was down there where Fox's Cut. You went through, you went down, and you came back out again later on, just like up at Washington Oaks and down at what was Denny Moore's. Aggie, where you at?
Does anyone else have a story to tell? Well, I would like for us to give a big round of applause to Don Thank you so much for sharing your life with us and helping to make this such a beautiful community. And with that, it's about 9 o'clock, and I'd like to make the motion to adjourn. All right, we're adjourned.